stay trapped inside, but just like, please, man, people are falling out like flies, dude. It's like every day I'm just wondering how many people are going to hit me up and they're like, I'm about to get tested. So, please stay safe, please stay healthy, and that way next week we can freaking get in there. And as far as tomorrow goes, what are we doing?
I can show up tomorrow. I wasn't going to show up today, but it looked like no one really cared to show up, and I was like, damn, it's only going to be...
Bro, the school's turned into a ghost town, dude. I was up there earlier, and it's like, it's just turned into a straight ghost town.
Shit.
There's like no cars there. I'm like, oh man, here we go again. So, it's not like I want to give you guys the option. I really do.
Right there. Yeah. Like I said, I was going to show today, but it looked no one cared to show up, and I was like, well, damn, okay then.
Yeah, it's just going to be you two for next week. If you guys decide to do it, it's just going to be you two. Everybody else is unfortunately not going to be able to attend.
Damn.
So.
Well, I still call him chef.
Oh, by the way,
whenever I
every time I cook something or whatever, Destiny still refers to you as chef.
Well, why wouldn't she?
I don't know. But she don't call you like she.
I'm always gonna be Chef Chris, man.
She don't even call you Chef Chris. She's like Chef.
Just because I'm she's not my student anymore doesn't mean like it doesn't have to be all weird like that. Like I'm still just Chef. She's still just Destiny.
He said,
"Look, I'll be all weird. Come on, now we all good."
I'll get some milk.
Right. Oh, we made catfish.
Nice.
Well, she made catfish. I do chicken. I made chicken last night, and for some reason, why I find myself doing things that I normally wouldn't do. So we made. I bought some chicken tenders, chicken breast. They were fat, of course, and I was like, "Oh, this shit gonna take forever to cook." Let me go grab I went to go grab the saran wrap, and I started beating it like we did in class. How we made it flatter so it would cook better.
Well, if it's that thick, you might be able to just get 2 good halves out of it.
It was pretty thick, and I forgot to, and I was like, damn, what am I supposed to do now? And I forgot, and I could have cut it, and I didn't think about it until it was too late already. I was like, fuck, I should have just cut it and then just beat it down real quick and just made 2 halves instead of cooking 2 separate big ass pieces. And I was like, well, I guess I got a lot of chicken now. So what I did was...
It's just the thing is the outside's going to overcook before the inside gets to 165. That's why you want to either pound it out thinner, so it's going to be wider and thinner, or just butterfly it in half, and then that way you can get 2 even halves out of it. Sometimes it's even still pretty thick that way, and you can flatten it out like that. So, that's there's options there. But yeah, next time try one of those 2 things.
Pull the chicken.
So, hey, William, my good man. So, are you good to hit class tomorrow, brother? Yeah. All right. So at least we can get in there and like rock out something this week. You know?
I know. Like I said, I can make it tomorrow.
Okay. So then let's plan on it. Right. We're just gonna lock it in, unless you wake up and you're like, dude. I'm experiencing COVID symptoms. Like I really want to.
Ever since you told us about the first person getting positive in your class, I've been fine. I've been staying in the house ever since the new variant has hit, and I've been staying up to date on it because I do have a lot of friends and family that work in the medical field. So I'm kind of like I'm always tapped into like what's going on. So I've been like staying inside the house, and if I do go out, it's at certain times so I know no one's really going to be there. So either early in the morning or really late at night.
Right.
But anything in the afternoon time, I don't go out. I just stay in the house. So like,
yeah, pretty much same. Like you know, after the holiday hit, dude, everybody got together and nobody really cared about the virus or whatever, and we were all with our friends and family, and so that's when the spike hit, dude. Something like yesterday was like another 200,000 reported cases or something, dude. So like, I mean, you see, like it's very personal. We're experiencing several already positive cases in just in the culinary, and then other students who are like, hey, I think I need to go get tested. So it's like, I'm not saying it's all coming from the school, but it's just like you go to Target and like you could get COVID, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's just no rhyme or reason right now, and it's just hitting like really, really, really heavy. People vaccinated or not,
Exactly. And then like it's been hard because I have plans. I'm not gonna be weird about it. I have plans. I wanted to go to the movies. I wanted to hit the mall. But then but then when I started hearing, hey, by the way, another 200 people just disappeared out of nowhere and from Omicron, I'm just like, okay, well, now I kind of don't want to go out no more. Like I can't, like, it just, nowadays people forget that we have a situation going on.
Or they just don't care.
Yeah. No one cares.
Just straight up, they're like, hey, you whatever.
They be like, hey,
people that go, COVID's not real. COVID's not real. It's just like the flu. Well, guess what? This is the type of stuff that's going to get us shut down again if we don't freaking watch out.
Because people still want to have big old festivals and parties. And I'm like, I don't mind. If you want to get together with your family, go ahead. Be my guest. But just know it's going to be a risk that comes with it. Yes, that is family, but it's going to be a risk because you don't know.
Of course, you don't want to be hanging out around your family with your mask on, and
exactly.
It's like, but at the same time, like, just still kind of gotta just do what we gotta do. You feel me? Like, I don't know. This is why I just kind of stayed to myself. Didn't do too much of anything, just because it's like, okay, this is still real, and I have people who would be affected by it. If it was to happen, if I was to spread something like this to them. Plus, it keeps us out of school, it keeps us out of work, it keeps us from our normal life. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have time to get hit by something like that. I don't
either.
It's like, yeah, sure, maybe we get sick, or maybe we don't get sick. There's people who are getting it right now who don't even know that they have it.
Exactly.
So it's like, I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about, like, okay, now I can't go to class now. Like, God forbid it was to affect you guys. Like, I would just feel bad. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, there's a chain reaction that goes along with that. So that's why we've been so precautious. But at some point we do want to try and get back to like normal life and whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So cool. So then we're locked in for tomorrow. I will go through the lesson plan and I'll pick something cool for tomorrow. We'll do something fun. You have caviar? How much caviar? Is it like the 1 pound tin? Ooh. What brand? That's the brand? What's the logo though? Like what company is it? Wait, so you said black seaweed pearls? So is it like actual like fish egg roe, or is it is it like the gastromolecular cooking where it's like little droplets of things that it's like seaweed that's been transformed into little pearls? So does it actually say like fish caviar on there? Yeah. So caviar style. Yeah, so what that is, gastromolecular cooking. So if you look at that little cover page for chapter 6, where it's got those little green drops going into the water, what you do is there's a process where you can liquefy and puree and get a substance that is flavored like that thing. And when you drop it in to oil and water, what happens is it gels up and it separates and it turns into little droplets. And those little beads, they scoop those out, and now you have like a fish egg look-alike. It's like a mock fish egg, but you can flavor it with whatever you want. You can make a fruit, you could make it, something like seaweed, but it has that really dark look to it, especially for seaweed. So it would look a lot like caviar. You could bring a jar in and we can check it out and see what we could do with it. That'd be cool, man. Appreciate that. Okay, so I just wanted to tap in with you guys and see what is things looking like. I know we just went over chapter 21 yesterday. I just wanted to see if you guys had any questions, anything that maybe you need to go over. We're going to do a review again tomorrow, so that'll be in class. So I want to do that before either before we get in the kitchen or before we go home, but more than likely before we get in the kitchen, just so it's out of the way.
Oh, so okay, I do. What was the difference between? Because I remember you were telling me about like how you have oysters and then you have like crabs, and you said the difference was what again?
So the difference between like fish and shellfish is that the skeleton is on the inside of the fish, and shellfish, the skeleton is on the outside. That hard shell is technically considered their skeleton. That's what gives their body its structure. So the difference between a shellfish and like a oyster, clam, something like that, is that's considered a bivalve.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, you have univalves and you have bivalve. A univalve would be like a singular shelled organism. A bivalve is anything that has the two hard shells, but it's connected by a hinge, right? So, we can take oysters and we can shuck them and pull them apart and rip them into two pieces. Now you have a top and a bottom. Obviously, we only keep the bottom part where the meat is connected, right? We disconnect it from it, keep it in there. Top shell goes out. Bottom shell is then served as its presentation, right?
Okay.
You use that to like slurp the oyster out. Or if you're just looking for oyster meat, then you would just pull the meat right out of the shells, toss the shells out, so on and so forth. But what makes them unique is the fact that they have those two shells that are connected by one hinge. And that it's almost like a cartilage, fleshy like substance. Like if you pull it apart, you can see that it's like a biological material. Right? Even though their shells are really hard, their hinge is really soft because that's how they eat. They open up underwater and they grab stuff and pull it into their shell.
Okay.
Right. So, excuse me, that's going to be the difference between those two. As far as the fish goes, remember that the two categories are the fin fish and shellfish. Cephalopods are also categorized under the bivalve and univalve categories. So remember that they are like squid, octopus, things like that. They do not have any skeleton whatsoever. Actually, it makes them very unique. But those are considered cephalopods, right? So in order to be a cephalopod, Squidward style, you have to have 8 arms, legs, and then here's actually fun fact, right? So an octopus has 9. An octopus has 9 brains. Each one of its tentacles has an independent brain to control that tentacle, and then it has one brain that controls like the body. Dude, so cool. Everybody's always like, why did you get an octopus tattoo? And I'm like, I'm fascinated with octopus, man. I think octopi are extremely, one of the most intelligent creatures in the ocean, one of the most adaptable, has the best camouflage, one of the best defense mechanisms. Then, it's got a brain for each tentacle. It squirts ink as a defense mechanism. I mean, we know that squid ink is freaking awesome. That's how we get squid ink pasta and hamburger buns, and it's awesome. But it's just they're very intriguing creatures. So that's going to be classified under the univalve, bivalve, cephalopod, even though it's not technically like a shell or anything like that. Anything else? Sir William, do you have any questions?
True garden spice. The black guy must have not did good. They're ready looking.
Hat and apron for class that's black. Do you have any chapter 21 questions though? Oh, okay. Yeah, so to answer your question, I do not mind if you bring a black hat and a black apron. Are you talking like a full length apron or like a waist apron? Yeah, that's fine. I want you guys to preserve your coats anyway. And also, same message I sent to my day class. I want you guys to start rolling up your sleeves, because like I was walking around and looking at people's sleeves, doing a little uniform check. Some of you guys don't realize that those sleeves hang down and you're slicing carrots or you're cutting stuff, and that orange is just rubbing all over the white coat. Plus, we're talking cross contamination, right? Your coat touches something and then you touch the thing, and so the sleeves should always you see chefs like that for a reason. It's not because it's like a fashion statement. It's just to keep those sleeves out of the way. Now, if you guys were going to go like in the dining room, you were going to be professional. Maybe you were doing some sort of a demo or a presentation or something like that where you're going to be seen by people. Yeah, for sure. Have those sleeves down, nice and dressed for the occasion. Other than that, those sleeves are not really functional. So do me a favor and roll those bad boys up. But yes, is it like the same type of hat that we have, or is it one of those like skull cap type hats? Okay, yeah, that's cool, man. I don't mind. Is it just like regular plain black? Cool. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Also, at the same time, I think it's important for you guys to feel like you have some sort of a sense of identity in the kitchen. We all have to wear the same uniform. We all have to pretty much do the same thing. We have the same knives, same knife bag, so on and so forth. I think that it's important for you guys to feel like you can accessorize, if you will, because it kind of gives you your independent style. And, now you technically look like everybody else, but you don't actually look like everybody else. I know that was really important for me too. That was one of my first questions I asked my chef, like, hey, can I get a different hat? Can I a different apron, something? And at the time, actually, another announcement I'll give you in a second. But at the time, the bookstore was open and they sold all types of different culinary stuff. You could go in there and buy meat cleavers, spatulas, different spoons, upgraded measuring cups, stuff that didn't come in the bag, but we offered it from the same company. At the same time, we had aprons, we had the chef's beanie, like the skull cap style hats. We had all kinds of cool stuff. So that way, you didn't have to be just like everybody else. You had a little bit of options. So yeah, I don't mind if you guys do that. The thing is, like, I don't want, stuff that's like bright yellow or bright orange or, trying to make a fashion statement. Like, as long as it's black or white, I am totally cool with that. Cool.
Are we gonna be making sushi? Because I'm looking through chapter 21, and at the I guess you could say that's like the back, almost towards the back. It says making sushi.
Yes. So, and because you use special Japanese short grain rice, that's sushi rice. It's a very specific technique that I'm going to show you guys. We have to make our own rice first. Then we make a very delicious liquid seasoning using like rice, wine vinegar, mirin, sesame oil, all kinds of stuff. And then it's not like raw sushi. So I'm not going to say sushi because it's not raw fish. But I do teach you guys how to roll California rolls.
So it's not raw sushi. It's like
not
a form.
raw.
It's a form
Right.
of sushi though.
Well, so you know what a California roll is?
Yeah, my favorite roll.
What is it?
California roll. Either I get the tempura rolls. Excellent roll.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about fried. We're talking about just a regular old California roll. Do you know what that is?
Isn't it technically raw? Because I had a plain California roll.
No.
It's cold, but it's not raw.
Oh.
Crab doesn't come raw,
Oh well.
Right. So
right? Crab doesn't come raw, right?
So yeah. So excuse me. Sometimes you'll find it with the. It's always got imitation crab, and then you got the avocado
crab
in there. Yeah, avocado, and then sometimes you'll see it with like carrot.
Crab.
Carrot give it like that nice little crunch.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have the seaweed and the sushi rice.
Oh,
Now
okay.
I'm gonna teach you guys how to roll the sushi rolls. So we have sushi mats. I show you guys how to start it off, how to prepare it. We roll it two ways. I show you how to do it reverse and regular. So one of them has the seaweed on the inside and the rice on the outside,
and the seaweed on the outside.
The other one has the seaweed on the outside, the rice on the inside.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so you guys are
fun.
gonna learn. You're gonna learn two different ways. For sure. Yo.
Oh no.
Well, what is it that you're missing? Okay, my question is, do you have your shoes? Do you have your shoes? Okay, so as long as you have your shoes on tomorrow, then you're good to go. Okay, so the equipment, like you come in, you need to have all of your knives, you need to have your measuring cups, your scale, your tongs, your spatulas, your whisk, your oven mitts, teaspoons. Thermometer should always be in your pocket with your Sharpie at all times. That's part of your uniform, so that needs to be on you when you come in. Now remember, hats do not need to be on until we go into the kitchen, right? But you need to have your uniform on, so chef coat all the way on, buttoned up. You need to have on your chef pants and then your non-slip shoes. Your apron and your hat can go on once you actually, when we suit and boot to get in the kitchen.
Are we making crab cakes?
You guys weren't even there for, let's see, how many days did we go in? I think we were only there for one day? Last week? Was it last week? I think
Tuesday. I think it was still on Tuesday.
Yeah. So yeah, that's funny that you said that. That's what we were gonna do tomorrow.
Oh, we're making crab cakes tomorrow?
Yeah, with real crab meat.
Oh, real crab meat, not imitation crab.
Real crab meat. Because Mr. William, you never got to do your crab cakes, huh? Yeah, we didn't get around to that. So, well, I wouldn't say yelling, but yeah, we were definitely having a stern conversation, if you will. Yeah, unfortunately, you weren't at a place where you're able to do that at that point. So I still want you to be able to get the lesson out of it, because of course, man, you guys need to understand, nothing is ever personal. I don't like hate you guys or love you guys or none of that. That's not what we're here for, right? Not to be mean, but I'm not here to be your friend. I'm also not here to throw stuff at you and yell at you and belittle you. Neither of those things are my job. My job is to transfer valuable, useful information that's going to help you to succeed in your chosen field of work, right? What you want to do as far as your career goes for the rest of your life, or whatever. Like maybe it's not that serious, but you guys signing up for school tells me that you have a passion for this stuff. So that's why, obviously there's passion on my end as well, but like, it's not like I get pissed off when you guys do stuff wrong. Like I get irritated when we have to backtrack and when we're doing stuff that we've done for like 6 months and we're having conversations that we've had for like ever. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm like, oh my God, this is.
And then I know, yeah, I get it.
Ridiculous.
Especially when it comes down to us like prepping stuff and we have to get everything ready. The mise en place. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Mise en place. When it comes to the whole mise en place, I get why you would be like frustrated because you'd be like, yo, we've been doing this for about
every time we get in the kitchen,
7 months now.
Every time. Yeah. It's like nothing's changed. Yeah, maybe the recipe changes, but the action of what we're doing never changes. And for us to like, if you were like, oh my God, I can't find the sesame seeds. Okay, cool. That's I'm not gonna be mad at you for that. But when you're like not knowing how to prep your ingredients to even get the recipe started, and you've been my student for over 6 months, I have a lot of questions for you at that point. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for everybody. So it's not like I pick and choose, or I'm like, I don't like this guy, so I'm gonna, pick on him, or I don't like this girl, so I'm gonna pick on her. It's not like that. You guys need to understand that it's just like me being your boss at work, right? I don't like favor my employees at work. I've never been like, oh, you're cool, so I'm gonna cut you break, or oh, I don't like you, so I'm gonna be an a-hole to you. No, that's I don't have time for that, for sure. And I'm gonna be honest with you, they do not pay me for all of that. That's way too personal. You know what they pay me for? To come in and do my job. And that sure as shit is what I'm going to do every single time that I have you in my presence. If you choose not to come to class, then there's nothing I can do about that. But if you're there, then it's you accepting the terms and conditions, just like you would if you had signed up and got employed at a restaurant or some business. So there is that expectation, and there should be a clear-cut division between what we know is right and what we know is wrong, or where we should be at. And again, asking questions. You know what I'm saying? I can't get mad at you if you ask me a bunch of questions, because you're trying to show me that, hey, I care about what we're doing. I just don't understand. By all means, ask, be the question king. But when we don't ask any questions, when we don't speak up, when we're not,
and we're just like,
and then we go to do it, and it's like
we start
deer in the headlights. Well, fuck yeah, man! Like that's frustrating, because if I was paying you, that was weird. If I was paying you, then we would say, yeah, bye. It's nothing personal, man. But like, I can't have somebody in my business that is going to hurt it more than they help it. We have good days and bad days, and nobody's going to be perfect every time. But when we're consistent, and when we have like a good routine going, and we understand that expectation, then you're going to go be great everywhere you are. You just have to learn how to adapt to that specific system. But we're sometimes not even at a point where we're like it's like ground floor every day. When we come in, we should be at level 20, and we're like back to 1. And it's like, holy crap, are you serious? So, I'm sure it's very frustrating for you. Understand that it's very frustrating for me. In order to eliminate that frustration, guys, we just have to be on the same page, and we just have to communicate with one another. You guys know I love to talk, so I'm always going to communicate with y'all. But like, I can't be like, ask me a question right now. Tell me what you don't understand. Again, they don't pay me for that. They pay me to say, all right, guys, any questions?
No. All right,
no, you sure? Okay, guys. All right, well, let's rock and roll. That right there, that big old blank silent moment where everybody's going, that's your op. That is your opportunity to ask me whatever you want 100 times, 100 different ways. 14 questions if you need. Let's hold the whole class up for 10 minutes because you're asking so many questions. I don't care. I'll do it with a smile on my face. But when we're not communicating and we're not asking those questions, and then we just run directly into a brick wall,
No,
frustrating.
Yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
maybe that helps you guys understand a little bit more where I'm coming from, because I think sometimes we feel like it gets personal. And that's never it, because I guarantee you at the end of the day or at the end of the night, whatever, same deal in my day class. As soon as we're done, I forget all about it. I don't go home and get pissed off. I don't go to my next class upset. I don't come in the next day still, irritated about it, because I don't have time for that. I don't take it personal. I used to, when I was younger, take things really, really personal at work, but then, I had a boss that told me one time, like, what makes you so special that you think I'm going to sit here and continue to be upset about you and that little thing that happened? I have 50 things that I have to get done before I go home today. You think I have time to sit here and be petty and upset with you or about what you did? They were like, it happened. Effing move on.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh. They were like, hey, look, you're a good worker, but you can't take things personal. If you take everything that's told to you personal, you're going to be a stress case and you're never going to progress. You have to be able to take the bumps and the bruises along with the good and the bad and so on and so forth. And at that point, I think it helped to really change my outlook on things, because I stopped taking stuff personal and I started seeing a change, right? If you're willing to take that criticism or take that, that little thump on the head, so to speak. Hey, come on. Boop. Should have had a V8. Okay, if you can take that and keep bouncing, all right, chef, no problem. But it happens, and it's like, and then our whole mood is different for the rest of the day, and we're all sad and sulky, and it's like, fuck, dude, this is what my son does. Come on. And it happens in my day class too. I have guys and girls that it happens to as well, and I have to have the same conversation. This is not just you guys. I'm just having this conversation with you now. It happens all the time. It's happened 100 times before. It's going to happen 100 more times. And like, it is what it is. I just got to keep saying these things. So hopefully you guys feel a little less attacked when we have our conversations or when, I do get a little irritated, because again, it's not like I can fire you guys. I'm not trying to boot you out of the classroom. I'm not throwing shit at you because I'm so pissed off, but I am concerned. I am very concerned. You're going to go out there and you're going to have somebody ask you to do something that I want you to be able to confidently say, okay, I can do that. And if we can't even start off with the basics the right way, doomed.
Exactly.
So
I fully understand.
Well, I didn't bring your parents into the conversation. You brought your parents into the conversation. You told me that the reason you weren't wearing the shoes that I had asked you to bring 3 times was because your mom rushed you out the door. But you still had shoes on your feet though. So me telling you that you can't blame your adopted parents for your grown man mistake, it's not bringing your parents into it. That's telling you that you need to own up to your mistakes as a man. And those are your shoes. You can do whatever you want with them, Will. That's not the issue, man. The issue is it wasn't the first time. If I was like, hey, how come you weren't wearing your shoes today? And you're like, oh crap, my bad, chef. I forgot them at home. I won't do it again, right? But that was the 3rd time, and this was 2 times before Christmas break, and then once as soon as we got back from Christmas break. So 3 times over, let's just say at least a month span, where I had to pull you aside and ask you why you're not wearing a very essential safety part of your uniform, right? It's not like you didn't have your apron, so I was upset. You're wearing something that could potentially hurt you because you're not wearing the right safety equipment in the kitchen. And if you slip and fall and you're not wearing what you're supposed to be wearing, then it's not good, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there to jump on you because you're not doing something right. I care about you. So ethically, it's not right for me to let you set foot in that kitchen and cook food. The first time I overlooked it. The second time I overlooked it. right? Because I wanted you to get in there and cook. But the third time, at that point, it's just blatant. Like you're telling me that you don't care. And so one, that's called insubordination. We can't really have that. And two is it's a safety issue for you to be over there washing dishes, jamming around that kitchen with, whatever is on the floor. And then you potentially slip and fall and you hurt yourself because you're not wearing what you should be. So those, factors combined is what led us to the conversation that we had the other day. You bringing up your parents was on you. I didn't bring your parents into it. So that's not really like a factor here, my man. Why would I just, that is part of the subject. You not taking responsibility for your actions is absolutely part of the conversation. I just told you, Will, it's your duty to accept responsibility for the things that you do. If you want to have this conversation, we can let Chuck go, and then you and I can have this conversation. No, we definitely have time. If there's an issue, then I feel that we need to resolve that in order for us to proceed.
Ooh,
Shit. Big plat.
No. The fact of the matter is that you blamed your parents for something that you did. That was a fact, right? So it's not really my opinion to say that you need to take ownership for your mistake. That's not an opinion. That's a statement, right? And that's a factual statement. That's why I asked you how old you were. If you're 16 years old, then sure, you can get away with blaming your mom or your dad for stuff like that. But that's not really how it works, man. I'm trying to help train you to be better at this stuff, man. And we can't really make progress if we're backtracking here, dude. You're getting way off topic here, man. You're looking for things to pick apart. You're looking for things to pick apart, Will. So like I said, man, if you want to have this conversation separately, then we can go ahead and let Chuck go. And you and I can sit here and discuss this, but this is not appropriate for class. Okay. So as far as the chapter goes, does anybody else have any questions?
I think I'm pretty. Yeah, I'm good on that.
Okay. All right. Well, then,
will we be boiling anything too? Like, are we gonna like go through like how, like basically the sections of like I guess you could say the seafood module, like boiling,
You're
frying,
talking about the different
smoke, like the techniques. There we go. That's the word.
Absolutely.
The different. Are we gonna go through like the different techniques through actually everything? Because I know I had a bunch of time in class due to everything going on, so. I kind of just want to know because I do want to learn how to like boil fish and grill fish and smoke. Because I'm really like, I don't know, but like ever since I've stepped into that classroom, I've had like this passion for cooking for some reason why that just came out of nowhere. And it's like now,
good man. That's exactly what I want, and I want to like help nurture that.
Now that I'm at home, all I want to do is just like find stuff to cook and just try something out in the kitchen. I want to make something special and do some random like, and then when I'm at school, I'm like, okay, I could take this home and do it at home now. Like, and it's like, I thank you for that. Like, I had like, you have sparked this fire under my butt that just like, it's making me want to do better.
Thank you. Nice.
Oh, chef, so I'm making chicken breast tonight. What would be like a really good recipe for chicken breast? Like seasoning wise.
I mean, it just depends, man. Chicken is like the most blank canvas that you could possibly think of. I would say pound the chicken out really flat fillet it open, pound it out flat, and then fill it with something on the inside, like a spinach, cream cheese, artichoke, garlic filling. Roll it up tight, and then cook it in the oven. You remember how we did the pork tenderloin?
Yeah.
Do that same thing with chicken breasts.
Oh.
Or put like ham and cheese and garlic in the center and roll that up.
Huh. Well,
Dude, one time I made pizza chicken. I filleted it open, pounded it out flat. I put pepperoni, cheese, marinara sauce, a little bit of shredded basil, rolled that up and hit it like that, dude. It was just straight pizza chicken. It was phenomenal.
Okay.
Have fun, man. Be creative with it, dude.
Like I can cook a chicken breast. Like I flattened it, I seasoned it, threw it on the stove with a little bit of oil, and let it cook, and then flipped it, let the other side cook, and then I covered it up how you taught us how to cover it to steam it. I steamed it and everything, let it rest for a few minutes, and I cut it. It came out it was so good. And I was like, damn, I see why he gets pleasure on cooking a lot of food now.
It's fun, man. It makes you feel good, dude. And the end result is like you get to eat deliciousness. What's better than that?
Oh, so remember how you taught us about mirror pox and stuff?
Correct.
At Walmart, they have pre-made mirror pox now. So like it's already cut up, it's already in the container and everything.
Wah, wah, wah. Dude, there's probably so many preservatives on that diced up stuff to keep it from going bad. That's gross.
He said it's probably.
Don't be lazy. And check it out. You can get a whole head of celery for like 88 cents. You can get pounds of carrots for like $1. You can get onions for like 50 cents. You can probably spend like $4 on the Mirepoix. You can get 10 times that amount for the same price buying it fresh. People are lazy. That's why.
Sit there and just view. Trust me, I guarantee you, if he could have people in his classroom to sit there and view his students, he probably would. But right now, we're not ready for that. I can tell you that now. We're not all of us are ready for that.
I'm ready.
All right. So any more questions about the chapter, gentlemen?
No, he giggled. When I said that, he giggled. He was like, that's funny.
No, you eat the whole thing. You cook the whole thing and you eat the whole thing, shell and all. Yeah, you don't have to deshell and break that down like you do other crustaceans.
So you know how a lobster is red and everything? I noticed when you take like the lobster out its shell, it's still red on the actual thing. Is that because that's just how it looks, or is that like something that happened? Like
it's the same thing like with shrimp. When you cook shrimp, it turns pink, but it's like gray when it starts out. Lobster is actually like a darker brownish, grayish color as an animal, and then when you cook it, it turns bright red. That's only because you subjected it to that heat. So that's a reaction between the heat and the shell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the same thing with like the shrimp and all that stuff. Otherwise, the actual meat itself is kind of grayish when it's raw.
So are we going to be cooking like a whole lobster or just a lobster tail?
Lobster tail.
Okay.
I mean, shoot, at this point, man, if nobody's able to come to school, we can get some whole lobsters and do whole lobster. I'll let you guys kill it and everything.
Oh. I mean, I'll be down if no one shows up and we have the funds to do it. I'll be down to do a whole lobster and kill a whole lobster.
Well, at this point, it's just going to be us all next week. So we could probably do some fun stuff next week for sure.
Let me see.
Yeah. Well, I'll be there for it because I'm.
I'm down.
Show it to me.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you guys go. Chuck, I'm going to go ahead and have you log out real quick. William, I'm going to ask you to stay logged in for a second, and then I will see you tomorrow evening. Good sir.
Okay. Yo, Chef, quick question. like when we do like the seafood stuff, would it be cool if I like recorded and like, you know, make like a little small like video out of it? No? Okay.
Can't have your phones in the kitchen, man. I'm sorry.
Sadly. I know. Damn. Cause I was like,
ain't no free game, bro. Ain't no free game.
Well,
You want free game? You learn real well and you can go home and teach her.
You didn't hear that, right?
no, not for her. Just the post on
Yeah,
TikTok.
I can hear everything she's saying because she talks really loud.
Yeah, he said he can hear everything you're saying.
Yeah, unless you're in like a room that echoes a lot. If you're trying to be quiet, you're not doing a good job here.
I wasn't trying to be quiet. I was just because I make TikTok videos, so I was like, huh.
No, I'm talking about Destiny.
If I could sit
Oh, yeah,
in the
no,
classroom and
you
just watch, I would.
You definitely no phones in the
No.
only time I'll ever allow your phone in the kitchen is if you're taking a picture of your food.
Oh, okay, cool.
And that's after you're
'Cause
done cooking. That's after you're not about to go touch more pots and pans and cook and all that stuff. You're just.
I've been
done.
wanting to take pictures of stuff that we make, but I'm like, he said no phones in the kitchen. So.
I always tell you guys take pictures all the time. All the time.
Now when we get done cooking, and I have some presented. I'm gonna take a picture of it and post it.
Every
All
time.
right, but I'm gonna go because yeah.
All right, brother. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right,
Man,
have a great day, chef. All right, then. All right, then, Will. Have a great day.
Man.
See ya.
All right. So before we continue tomorrow, Will, I just want to again, I feel like we've had this conversation so many times, but I just want to resolve any issues between us because clearly you feel some type of way about something or some things that I said to you last week. So if you have something that you wanted to say, this is definitely your platform. Arguing things out in class or trying to make a statement or whatever, like that's not the time or the place. But also, this is not, if it was the first time that it happened and I was just like, and jumped on you, that would be like a little weird, right? And like, I would need to check myself. But if it's like I'm going to say like 15th realistic time, maybe even more, that we've had these conversations and you kind of just disregard all the things that I say. Like I have no choice other than to take it as that you just don't care. Because if you did, you would do those things. Like if you like playing video games, you don't forget to do the things that you need to do to play video games. You don't, you know what I'm saying? Like things that you are interested in, you don't have a hard time doing those things or doing the things that are required of you. I know that you have the potential and that you're capable of doing these things, but you just don't do them for whatever reason. So my brain can only deduce none other than the fact that you just don't really like it or you don't really care that much about it. Dude, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm not mad at you. I'm like, maybe, okay, that's fine. You just don't like it as much as maybe myself or somebody else. Like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. You don't have to. But if you're going to participate in the program, you are going to need to meet the minimum guidelines. And thus far, we've had a serious issue with you meeting the minimum requirements as far as just the day-to-day routine in the kitchen. Right? So much so now that like I can't even let you into the kitchen because you just don't even show up with your full uniform. And it's not the first time, it's not the second time, it's not the third time we've had this conversation. So at some point as your boss, right? Forget I'm your teacher, forget any of that, right? Like you're my employee, I'm your boss because we work in a kitchen, right? That's you've known that it's been that way since day one. Right. So yes, as your teacher, I can't fire you. I don't throw stuff at you. I don't call you mean names. I don't seek to hurt your feelings. I don't do any of that stuff. But William, you need to understand that as your teacher, it's my job to help you better yourself, man, or to help you see things about yourself that you may not be able to understand. Okay. And I get it. Hearing things about ourselves that we don't like is hard sometimes. We're human beings. Okay. Same thing happens to me. But you have this thing where you want to argue and pick apart every single thing that I say to you. And I don't have time for that. Okay. You need to learn your place in my classroom. You are the student and I am the teacher. That's not going to change. As long as you're in the program, that's how it's going to go. Okay. It's not up for debate. It's not, if I feel like doing it today or we'll see how chef feels. It's like, this is the expectation. and you either get on board with it or you're not. And if you're not, then unfortunately, there's not a place for you in the program. If you are, then by all means, my man, come on, we're heading to the kitchen. Okay. But you want to sit here and break things down like ageism and you've brought racism and sexism and all kinds of isms into it because you're just trying to make some sort of a point to validate the wrong that you did. But it's not going to happen, man. Okay. So I am your instructor. And as your instructor, I'm going to point things out to you when they're wrong, right? It's your job to be able to understand and accept the critique. Okay. You don't like to be critiqued. You don't like to be told when something's wrong. You don't like to be told when you're doing wrong. You just don't. And it's very obvious. I've known you for quite some time now. And you give me the impressions in the kitchen, all the impressions that I need to know, right? Like you have a lot of repetitive actions in the way that you feel towards these things. So again, I'm not upset with you. It doesn't piss me off. I'm not irritated. Love it or hate it as much as you want. I don't care, man. That's up to you. That's all opinion, right? What is not subjective is the terms and conditions for you being my student. And that's where we have a problem. Okay. So from now on going forward, I'm going to need you to just come in and do your job as a student. And then we won't have this issue anymore. Okay. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. Okay, that's not my job. They don't pay me for that. Okay, but I do try and personally reach out and help you when I see an issue, right? Any one of my students, right? That's so in that aspect, yes, I'm going above and beyond the call of duty. That's for free. Okay, because I can see things that you necessarily can't. I'm not sitting there going, hey, you did that wrong. Hey, you did that wrong. Hey, this is wrong. Hey, you need to fix that. Hey, you're a horrible person. Hey, you suck at it. No, I'm not doing that, man. But me pointing out something like, hey, William, you're a grown man and you need to accept responsibility when you mess something up or when you make a mistake, because you are so quick to blame someone else or something else or some outside factor, anything but you. It's always anything but you. You know, and that you have, that's what they call a victim mentality. Okay. You learning how to take responsibility for the things that you do or don't do is very empowering. Why? Because if you know that you have to take accountability for something, more than likely you're going to want to do that and do it to the best of your ability, right? But you can't just like bob and weave in between one thing and the other. Okay. I don't have time for excuses. I don't have time for you telling me 100 reasons of why something happened to you or it didn't happen, or why you didn't bring this, or why you can't find that, or how come you're not doing something that you should have done that we've had the conversation about doing a certain way. How come after 4 or 5, 10 times of telling you you're not doing it that way? Those things, that's where our issue is, man. So I'm not telling you that anything wrong, right? You want to argue and pick apart these little comments or whatever from our conversation, but I'm here to let you know that's unnecessary, and I just need you to take the gist of what I said, right? I'm not telling you you're a horrible human being, but I am trying to help you out, man. And the biggest thing that I could possibly impart to you is that you need to learn to take responsibility for yourself, dude, because you're not a kid. So that's what I was trying to tell you. Does that make more sense? Okay, so did you have anything that you wanted to say to me? Okay, so we're not going to be debating and picking things apart and questioning what Chef says to us and any of that stuff anymore, right? Well, I mean, I need to know. It's either yes or no. Okay, so are we going to take accountability and responsibility for ourselves and the things that we need to be responsible for? Okay, so that means I'm not going to hear about your mom or your dad or anything that they lost or broke or didn't bring or forgot or drove off with or have to bring back or anything like that, right? William's going to be responsible for all of William's stuff. Okay. So I wanted to make sure, man, just so that we're on the same page, so that we understand each other going forward, and we don't have to have those conversations at school, because that's very counterproductive. And all it does is it takes away time from us in the classroom and time away from us in the kitchen. And that's time that I don't get to spend with you, going over the lesson and going over the recipe. That's also time that pulls away from me from other students. You feel me? Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay. I hope you have a good evening, and I will see you at school tomorrow.